Good afternoon, everybody. A very warm welcome. It is my privilege to welcome all the esteemed speakers for this panel discussion. I think very pertinent topic on reinventing employee experience, business continuity in the hybrid workspace. Uh, who would have thought 2 years ago that we would be having a conference and talking about the new normal? And I've got two, three examples to share. Was helping a very big, global MNC in the business continuity efforts, and this is January 2020, and they said that let's plan for a scenario where NCR is not available for a period of 30 days, and we laughed in the boardroom about it, saying NCR is very diverse. Whether you talk about Manesar to the other end, Greater Noida, you won't have a situation where it would not be available. And within, I think, about 45 days, we had a situation where we had our first lockdown. For 60 days, no city in India was available. I'm a very big fan of WHO reports. I was a very big fan of WHO reports, and the global risk report says that any country getting affected by a pandemic and going into lockdown, the probability is just 7%. 3 years, it's a 2019 report. 3 years after the report, 2 years into a pandemic, all 180 countries have gone into lockdown. So, and again, was talking to a CEO, and we were doing some exercise for them. He said, I said, I know your entire landscape. You like have one office in Delhi, five regional offices, five sales offices. He said, Jaspreet, your understanding of the company is completely wrong. And I was very, and his CHRO was sitting there. He said, Jaspreet, we've got 11,000 offices in India, which is the number of employees in India working from home. So, welcome to this new normal of the hybrid workspace. It's once again a privilege to be speaking with all of you. Let me start by taking your views. Prajit, over to you, please.
Thank you, Jaspreet. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Prajit Nair. I lead the end user computing division for VMware in India. End user computing division implies all the solutions that VMware offers on the client side, namely any VDI or any MDM or any unified endpoint management solutions that we have to offer with security and other things that we do. So that's the portfolio that I manage. And Jaspreet brought a very valid point. In fact, today, as we speak, Jaspreet, I am actually back in my own office and after 2 years. This is the first time I'm actually back to my office after 2 years. And this is because we had renovated it and got it back. So that's why there. Even today, it is not mandated. And what the 2 years has truly shown to many organizations, especially in different verticals, because different verticals need to react differently to such a situation. There are some verticals where come what may, they need to be in the office, especially the financial, the manufacturing, a few of those verticals. And the other verticals truly now have seen the benefit of not necessarily needing an office and truly working from anywhere. Sales organizations don't really need to come to office, and as long as they are having their meetings, the client meetings, and getting the work done, not really an office kind of thing. So different verticals have found their method to work in this kind of situation. And what has changed now is I was speaking to many CIOs over the last few weeks, ever since everybody started coming back to office. One of them, one common theme that they said is that they are actually finding resistance from employees to come back to office. Probably a year back, after the first wave of pandemic, a lot of cry about, when is the office opening? We want to come back to the office and things would come back to normal. And possibly after 2 years and with 2 rounds or maybe more rounds of the pandemic, now people are actually getting used to that world, and they say, do I really need to come to office? In fact, few of the HR guys told me that they're actually asking these questions for interviews, that if it is office work, I'm not interested. I'm really wanting to work in a hybrid kind of situation where maybe I need to come to office 1 or 2 days a week. I'm fine with that, but don't mandate me to come to office all the time. These are changes that we are seeing in the industry post the pandemic, and solutions are needed by everybody to how to adapt to these situations. What do organizations do what are the policies they create, how do they call or adapt or encourage or motivate employees to work in the way that they think is best suited for the market they are addressing. So
Right.
everybody is trying to build their solutions in their own way, and that's what is the initial reactions that we see.
Super, Prajit. I'll take two, three key takeaways, right, from your opening statement. I have been a victim on the other side of the table where, now any new employee, the first thing he asks is not salary, but is, will I be allowed to work from home, right? And there is, I would say, I don't know, good, bad, ugly, nobody's passing any comment, but there is a lot of resistance on coming back to a 9 by 5 job, and that too 5 days a week, right? I think hybrid and probably gig workers, as everybody is calling, is are on the rise. Number one. Number two, productivity again. I we were lucky enough when we started our careers, and I'm sure it would be for everybody on this call, right? We were probably sitting in a bay with a desktop, with somebody from finance sitting very close to me, somebody from admin sitting 3 rows away from me, where you could interact with different people, right? Learn very different perspectives about the company, what's happening in the company. But now with at least the entire virtual calls, right? You only, for example, an IT guy will never go and attend an HR call, and vice versa, right? So your viewpoint about what's happening in the company, etc., your employee productivity, everything, I think we just need to look at it holistically, and who better than all 4 5 of you to come up with a solution at the end of this call. With that, Amir, your opening comments, please.
So I'm going to echo a lot of things that Prajit just said, right? Credit Sison for the benefit of everybody, my name is Amir. I'm the principal architect at Credit Sison India. We are an NBFC. We are actually a very, very new NBFC. We started our operations in November of 2019. And that is where my echo with the thoughts of Prajit are going to come in from, right? When we got our NBFC license in October of 2019. We start our lending out in November of 2019. March, we go into lockdown. And this is where kind of our story tad bit diverges. March of 2019, we were at an employee strength of, if I'm not wrong, about 65 people. Today, it's 270 people, right? So literally our whole business has grown during the pandemic. And the challenge, or I would say the nightmare that has always come up with me is oh shit, where are then my avenues of data leakage? Oh, are people patching up their machines properly the way I'm telling them to? Because we were a very new company. We learned everything online. We learned I've had multiple rounds of conversation with Tushar specifically on this. So it's been a very, very interesting journey to not just understand how do I protect my landscape, but also how do I be inclusive of all my employees who are sitting at home. Because one thing has become very clear. Hybrid is not going to go away anytime soon. People want hybrid. People are asking for hybrid. And if we want to attract the best of talents, we'll have to do it. There's no two ways about it there.
Super. So I think, again, a few takeaways, Amir. This is going to stay, right? Everybody.
Yes.
So I probably spend about 75 to 80% of my time helping clients on cyber. And when this whole work from home started, I couldn't sleep for a few days, right? I saw some of my clients opening everything, saying, now it is a borderless world. And some of these words started cropping up. It's very different when you're sitting behind an enterprise solution, security from an office perspective, to let's face it, realities, right? In our country, people do share Wi-Fi's also between floors.
Yeah.
What will your enterprise grade security do if you come down to those pieces? And unfortunately, we had clients who had to ship desktops home, and everybody in the industry did that, right? So very true. And then the entire piece that you spoke about employee productivity. Uh, I saw one of uh, global ITS companies put a tool which monitored how much time, screen time, etc. that you, what application you use on a laptop. Then suddenly somebody filed a lawsuit on them from a section 43A IT Act perspective, saying privacy, etc. So I think very interesting
Yeah.
conversations we're going to have. Mr. Prabhakar, can I bring you in now?
Yeah, thank you, Jasprit, and thank you for that. My name is Prabhakar. I manage the IT for a company called TNQ.
So your voice is, I don't know if it's only me, but your voice is little feeble.
Is it okay now?
Better, much better.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. So myself, I'm Prabhakar. I work for a company called TNQ Technologies as the CISO and the General Manager IT. And I predominantly manage the IT for TNQ and information security for us. This COVID-19 pandemic has definitely pushed all organizations across all the sectors to operate in a whole new way. And especially the IT department has been tested as never before. Because as an organization, we never had this culture of work from home and all that. We're a very legacy organization. So we do not have an option except to adapt to the new and uncertain conditions. Like, it was very fluid. We don't know what is going to happen. Like everybody thought. We never knew that, it is going to continue for two full years. But we have crossed 2 full years and we don't know when it is going to end and when we are back to the old normal. But while we were reacting to the situations, like we were also thinking at, how do we establish long-term strategies, to build greater resilience and to apply whatever lessons we have learned during this pandemic or during the previous experiences to create an infrastructure that better prepares for an organization for any kind of future disruption. So that was going in our mind, and moreover, the entire shift of this work from office to work from home was very new to us. And since we are a very legacy organization, so we wanted to create an infrastructure that is moved from the traditional legacy system to a modern software-defined architecture, which adopts to the business needs, of whatever is the expectation. Because end users have high expectations, whether they are working from home or working from office, they wanted the same user experience, wherever they are working. And from a compliance and information security perspective, it has to be secure. How do you manage your security, data privacy, and all that? Amir spoke about data privacy and all that. So how do you ensure? Because we work on unpublished content, we work on research content, which is highly sensitive, and we cannot allow that to leak before it gets published. And people expect they expect business as usual during a business continuity situation. They're already in a tougher situation, but they expect business as usual. So those are the kind of challenges which we were facing predominantly. And
so end user expectation. Thank you for bringing that up, Prabhakar. I think that will never change, right? Yeah. Whether we're looking at a pandemic situation or we're not looking at a pandemic situation, even the business felt that the business should go on and usual. And you made a very, very interesting point on privacy. Personal thoughts, nothing to do with the organization. We are and I was telling Prajit and Amir that we are a gig worker economy predominantly. So people from smaller cities come to at least big metros and A towns, and almost 70% people start up working either in an ITS or a BPO kind of environment, right? And there people share rooms. They get 10-15,000 rupees a month, right? 3 people staying in one room. Please try and explain privacy to them, right? Yeah. For them, privacy meant actually coming to office and working. Sorry, personal views. So I think, like we discussed, right? We'll have to have some hybrid kind of solution, right? And the other thing is, you mentioned security also. Today, the first thing any intelligent person walks into a 5-star and asks for is a Wi-Fi password, and does everything there. So, I think we were talking 2-3 different concepts here. But thank you, Prabhakar, for bringing them up. Tushar, your initial comments, please.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tushar Savaltekar, and I'm part of a brilliant team. So my perspective is slightly on a different note. So let me tell you, we as in Brilliant are actually helping many of our customers when it comes to the mobility practices, and when it comes to managing entire workforce where people are using from home and using remotely. We have been helping them to achieve that workflow. So even before pandemic, we were using that hybrid workforce because we were not visiting office very often, and we were traveling, meeting customers, and between those meetings, we were we call it cafe hopping. So we were working from cafes. And now, as we are working from home, we have been since then we have been advocating our customers why managing these endpoints through a modern management solution, or endpoint management solution, UEM solution, is really important. We have been advocating that over the last 4 5 6 years. And since pandemic hit, many of our customers started reaching out to us because when it comes to Mac, where we do most of our business, our customers were leveraging these UEM solutions as Apple leaves them no option. But when it comes to Windows devices, Android devices, and many other platforms which customers were using with their in-house solution, all of a sudden they feel like these solutions are obsolete when they started delivering laptops or desktops to end users' homes. And that's where many of our customers reached out to us. Hey, how do we ensure that when these devices are sitting at end users' home location, right? How can I ensure these devices are safe and secure? How can I ensure the security solution is deployed and it has been active? How do I ensure that these devices are updated, and how can I push these updates remotely? At the same point of time, when new employees started joining and they started demanding, I need this application, I need this provision, so that I can work remotely, how an IT person or IT team can leverage these sort of smart solutions to deliver those applications and make employee more capable, where IT do not need to spend a lot of time. So we have actually helped quite few customers to automate these sort of things, where they not only use this UEM solution to deploy their end users, but also enabled end users to be self-sufficient, do first level of activities by their own, by visiting an intelligent hub and downloading applications on their own for their productivity workflow. So I come from that spectrum, and there are a lot of great stories that we have successfully managed, or help customers deliver within their infrastructure by modernizing it.
Super. I think modernizing the infrastructure sounds very exciting, and so let's go to probably somebody who just started in 2019, as you said rightly, Amit. When I today talk about like Tushar said, the modernization, upliftment of the entire IT infrastructure. Since given that you started right almost at the cusp of the pandemic, I'm sure you would have encountered a lot of issues around traditional IT versus cloud versus hybrid. What are your thoughts? How did your organization look at this challenge?
So I'm going to break this up in two parts, right?
Sure.
The first part is going to be our actual compute, right? And when I say compute, I'm basically talking about all my servers, right? And then bringing it down to our endpoints, we are a full-blown laptop company. So very early on in the gestation of the company, we had taken a very hard call. Let's not do data centers. Let's go full-blown cloud, right? It was a very bold call that we took right off the bat, because considering we are a financial services company, that's a very unorthodox approach, right? But that approach during the pandemic, you know, gave us returns multiple fold, because it cut down on our overheads of understanding what are the takes and tunes that we need to do to a very large extent, right? So very supremely, I would advocate cloud. If you're looking at getting servers, cloud is amazing. Not to mention, all your compliances get almost taken care of by default. The tricky bit started coming in once the pandemic hit were the end computing devices, right? While everybody was in office, just throwing a shout out, making sure, doing the rounds in office, getting everybody patched up, sending out the notifications was easier, right? Because if you see a notification on your dashboard saying that, oh, somebody's not patched up their machine, you could just go knock on their door and get it done and over with. Versus once everybody went back home, that was absolutely not happening, right? Which is where the VMware solution, that's where we brought in. And our fleet is, I would say, 70% Windows, 30% Mac, which is almost now starting to push equilibrium slowly because more people are asking for Mac machines. VMware is amazing for us, has been amazing for us. I am sitting on my desk. I am getting a report. Okay, these guys haven't patched their machines. These are the patch levels that are pending. Click, 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 click. Send. Done. No more headaches for me. That is the best thing that I've had, right? As far as this whole evolving ecosystem is concerned, right? Then if we talk about, say, if somebody wants to have a very bespoke application, that they want to run on their machine, or there is some tooling that they've figured out that, I just thought about an example while I was saying this. A while ago, one of our developers comes up to me and says that, Amir, I found this really obscure GitHub page where I have somebody has written an application which is amazing. We should look at it, right? I was like, okay, fine, great, we should look at it. But how do I know that it's not going to throw in a ransomware in the mix of it all, right? That's where the air gapping comes very, very handy, right? Being able to singularly, pinpointedly air gap a certain machine while that testing is happening, so that the remainder of his home's network does not get affected, was amazing. And that's the idea where I come in from.
Perfect. I think air gapping, very, very important concept. People from the manufacturing industry used it like 10, 12 years ago. We learned it the hard way, right? When the pandemic came, because their OT systems were always completely separate, right? They were never integrated with the entire IT environment. In fact, they're moving the other way around. They're now talking about integration, and hence we have seen so many ransomware attacks, especially targeted towards the OT environment.
Yeah.
Mr. Prabhakar, you mentioned about privacy, right? And we spoke about business continuity. How do you think this entire business continuity has taken a turn because of the pandemic?
Yeah. Before that, I would like to touch upon a few points what Amir was mentioning. So, in fact, we also had our own challenges in code, but it is entirely opposite to what Amir had, because they're kind of born on the cloud. Like, they're a very new organization, so they've adopted cloud right from the beginning, so they could leverage certain things during the pandemic situation. But we're a very, very legacy organization. We've been in existence for more than 20 years. We're carrying so much of legacy with us, and I would also like to add what Tushar said of modernizing the IT infrastructure. So what we thought was, like, during the pandemic time, so while we were reacting to the current situation at that point in time, we also wanted to look forward and invest in IT, which is moving from a traditional legacy system to a modern software-defined architecture, which can help the business to continue business, like to be a resilient organization. Okay, so that was our motive, and as I told you, like, user always have their own expectations, and the primary motive, what we were thinking to implement, what kind of solution we wanted to implement, or what is the IT modernization we are looking at, just to improve the user experience and all that. Okay, and kind of like VMware also helped us in that journey. Like we implemented VDI infrastructure, which quickly helped us to transform all our physical desktops into a secure digital workspaces, delivering superior user experiences to the end users. While they were doing that, and it is also adhering to the security standards and protocols and compliance and all that, because all the data and the infrastructure is there within the data center. Okay, and people connect through the remote, through the VDI environment from any device, from anywhere. They just, they're just a screen refresh which goes to the end user, but all the data is residing within the data center. So the data is with us. One, it is secure, and the second, from the compliance perspective or the data security or data privacy, it is protected. So that's how we kind of to manage the situation.
Perfect. Pradeep, your organization, how did it look after the entire concept of business continuity, moving towards business resilience? Because business continuity is now a thing of the past. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah. So, when VMware talks about these solutions, when we're talking with our customers, and I really thank Prabhakas and Amir for sharing their insights in terms of how they have deployed our solutions in different form. We ourselves are also a 35,000 plus employee strength globally, and whatever we are actually offering solutions to the outside world, we ourselves have implemented same solutions to cater to our different needs, and we are spread across the globe. We have a huge R&D. We have a different requirement. We have a huge GSS support team. There is a separate requirement. We have a huge sales force who come with a complete different expectations and requirement. And then the product innovations and acquisitions and finance and all that teams that we have across the globe. Now we have different set of personas. All of them carry different personas. When you're looking at organizations, you need to offer solutions based on the personas of the people that they're addressing the market. So there is a set of users where VDI was very important. So we used VDI for such kind of use cases. And there was a segment, large segment of users where anyway they need modern management. So if I have to give it in a format, there are specific use cases that only VDI could deliver, while the management piece largely we could manage using the VMware's modern management solution. So the BDI use cases, there are a few use cases from BDI. One, I think the way Prabhakar mentioned is about those specific applications which are very data security intensive, specifically designs, product designs, developers, your L&D, learning and development applications. So these are segments where one, you need security because whatever you are doing is very crucial and it should not leak out, and it's an organization property. Second, agility is also extremely important. That how quickly, for example, in a learning and development, especially in the IT world. And why I mention IT world is because I remember some of the stalwarts of the IT industry. I used to interact with them, and I used to also interact with the financial vertical market. And financial vertical market used to always have their production applications and the UAT setup. And they used to say that my UAT setup is okay. This is where I test. But if something goes wrong on UAT, I am okay because that's my UAT setup. And whatever testing I do on my UAT, once it passes, then I move to production, and then production becomes very critical. That was the financial market outlook. But when it came to the IT organization, they used to tell me, boss, UAT is bread and butter for me. So I have nothing called production. And separate. What I do as UAT, what I do as testing for my clients, that is my bread and butter. That is what it is. So this is a very extreme crucial element for me. So what people should look at it is that when I'm giving a training to my folks, IT is a huge field. Every single domain needs different set of training. So for example, if you have set of machines, PCs and laptops, or whatever you have configured in your training center, for every different batch that you train, your configuration changes. You need a different set of applications to be used for a different batch, a different set of compute resources over there, a different sets of connectivity there, and this would change for every batch of training. Now imagine this to be happening in a physical world or in a laptop oriented world or a PC or a desktop world. It would be a nightmare, putting the team to quickly reconfigure it, change it after every session, put people to calibrate it, format it, then again install all the applications. Now this becomes very smooth using a VDI platform, because you can quickly provision it. It's a matter of few minutes that we can do that, and your resources are quickly ready to be deployed to the user. So clear use case from even from an agility perspective. One more trigger of agility which came to focus post pandemic, as you rightly mentioned, is the gig economy. What do you mean by gig economy is that you can truly employ a people from irrespective of which geolocation he is. And a company in Chennai can hire many people from Kolkata, Chandigarh, Jammu, Mumbai, wherever they find that the right talent pool is residing at the cost that they want, and they want to hire it. So one is the hiring bit is easy, that is done, to take interviews virtually, and that is done. But there are challenges of logistics. Like for example, if I need to hire 30 guys from Kolkata, how do I onboard these 30 people from Kolkata quickly into my organization? So if I send them an onboarding letter, by the time I will format my machines, PCs, laptop, and send it to them, it might take 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time, and then he starts working over there. So there is a delay, and there is a productivity lost of the time the employee is getting onboarded in this scenario. So VDI again comes into the rescue over there by helping organization create a virtual pool. So it's like an infrastructure which is readily available to there. Any employee who is coming, we enable what is called as a BYU. So ask him that, okay, you join in currently with your own laptop or any device that you have, and you will get a VDI automatically on day one. So that your job is being done, all the relevant applications that you need to work on is being delivered to you, and you will work perfectly fine on that. And by the time, over a period of 15 days, 20 months, meanwhile, I'll send him a laptop separately. That time he can then shift to a laptop, and this remains a virtual floating pool. So in today's time, and you talk to any organization, look at the attrition rate. I mean, one of the crucial elements in the attrition rate that you see in the current time is at least every organization is talking about 30 to 40% attrition rate. We are no different. It's part of the industry. Now, in such a pool where the people are coming in, going out, exit, different talent, different technology, you need something which is helping employees agility to onboard instantly, before you try to do that. So that is what again VDI is delivering. So clear use case of business continuity, resiliency, employee onboarding, data security, agility, all put together is what the VDI got. And the most important piece is VPN-less architecture over there in this side of things. And the second piece of it is the modern management piece, where the way Amir mentioned about all the PCs being managed, checking the patching is there or not, understanding the policy details, whether the policy has been deployed on them, not them, and offering heterogeneity. The best part is, in our own organization, we are not a 100% Windows shop. I have a lot of Windows machines. I have a lot of Mac machines. I have a lot of customers who use Chromes and Linux and other machines as well. So the benefit that we offer to the customer is a single console which delivers heterogeneity management. Whether you connect from a mobile, whether you connect from a PC, whether you connect from a MacBook, whether you connect from a Linux, you will get a consistent experience across any of the device. So that's how we manage the modern workforce and the tools in this current scenario that we are in.
I think very, 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 very interesting. I think you've touched almost all aspects, but what stayed with me was the employee experience that you spoke about, right? Whether I today log in from my iPhone, log in from my HP machine, log in from a MacBook, or from my iPad, right? Samsung Android-based device. All I'm looking for is consistency in terms of user experience. Very few products probably would give that. We will touch.
If I could add to Prajit's.
Please.
We had all the problems what Prajit was mentioning, and we were one of the companies where we get benefited out of this solution. In fact, so it had benefited actually three stakeholders. Like one is the end users. Their user experience is largely increased, and they get a consistent experience when they work from office, work from home, or work from anywhere. Okay, and the second the stakeholder is the IT team. For them it becomes very easy to manage these VDAs versus the 1,000 desktops or 2,000 desktops or laptops, because the number of support calls what we receive over the legacy system is more compared to this VDA environment, and we can absolutely control the VDA environment and all that. And the third stakeholder is a business. So in fact we were located within Tamil Nadu. We were located in Chennai and Coimbatore. So until now, we were only recruiting people within Chennai and within Coimbatore region. But now, after implementing the solutions, we kind of recruiting people from across pan India. We have people from Delhi, Orissa, a lot of places. So this had become a reality now. So we have largely got benefited out of the solution. Just wanted to share it with you.
One point I'm gonna One point I'm gonna echo both with Prabhakar and Prajit is, rather than what I see is, rather than the talent coming to us, we started going to the talent, right? And picking them up from where they are, giving them what they want, how they want, where they want, the how, what's what, they start happening, right? And all these solutions have been integral to doing all of it, because without it, it would have been next to impossible. I was
Right.
giving you an example. I ship out a laptop to my developer. They pop it open. It's a brand new laptop. The first screen they see is login into Kisetsu Saisen's credentials. Boom, done. Like those zero touch deployments have been amazing.
So yeah, I think we've all agreed on this. You know, we're coming towards the fag end of this interesting panel discussion. I wanted to touch upon one point which we said we'll do in the starting of in our brief introduction, and I don't know if Prabhakar mentioned it or Tushar mentioned it, was the entire employee productivity, right? So Tushar, would you want to talk to us about how did employee productivity go up during this pandemic? Because every other client that I talk to, that's a big consideration today. And then maybe then after that, Prabhakar, we could come to you.
Definitely. So, Jasprit, if you know, it's all mind game, right? It's what's in the mind. And as Amir have shared or Prabhakar have shared earlier, the onboarding experience, when it becomes as seamless with this modern management tool, that mindset gets set from the day one. If you consider the old scenario, the old way of working, where we used to travel down to the office, right? So person is actually spending 1 hour, 1.5 hour traveling. When he goes into the office, if something is not working, or if he has to use one particular application for his productivity use, he will reach out to IT, call up, or drop a mail. Or sometimes, when I used to work in that scenario long back, I used to actually walk down to IT and get that particular thing done. But now with these modern solutions, or the UEM solution, what IT has been doing, because day in day out, when employees are working from home, IT do not want all the employees to end up calling them, and they do not want hundreds and hundreds of IT tickets. And this UEM solution is actually allowing them to make everything applications being available in one central platform, be it the virtual applications that our Mac users love, because a lot of applications actually are based on Windows platform, do not work on Mac. Virtual desktops, precisely, or any native applications, web applications with single sign-on, where employee do not need to reach out to IT again and again and again, and by simply going to a single console, single platform, so they can access all their applications, be it on their iPad, be it on their Mac, or be it on their iPhone. This universal experience, even when I'm traveling, I can simply pick up my iPad and start working on it. And when I go to my desk, I can open up my laptop, maybe Windows machine. So personally, I use 7 machines, and I switch between Windows, I switch between Mac, I switch between iPad, sometimes my Android device, sometimes my iPhone. We do a lot of testings, right, for our customers. So if similar experience has been delivered, that's what our employee our customers are loving. What message that we have got wherever we have deployed Workspace 1 is the support ticket numbers have actually come down, where earlier, as simple tasks as resetting a password, where there used to be a dedicated IT person, those tasks, unnecessary tasks, have been reduced, because employees have been advocated and made self-sufficient. That actually results into an improved productivity, I would say. That's the feedback that we have got from our customers.
Wow, improved productivity is like music to everybody's ears in these pandemic times, right? Because you don't know what situation one's facing in the professional front, personal front, right? And then Prajit spoke about the great resignation happening. You're always under pressure to deliver more and more, right? So if by using tools you can actually improve the user experience and then enhance the user productivity, I think it's a win-win for all. Prabhakar, would you want to comment on this from a user productivity, user experience perspective?
Yeah, sure. Like we also had this issue, like initially when we went into lockdown mode, and so people were using traditional desktops. They used to connect to a VPN setup and then log into the desktop using remote RDP protocol. And they used to work. It is quite of a very cumbersome activity, and because of slow connectivity, like a lot of people were gone back to their hometowns, which is tier 2 and tier 3 cities where the internet connectivity is not stable. They don't have a broadband connectivity. They were highly dependent on mobile hotspot and dongles and all that. So since the last mile plays a very major vital role in the remote working. So and we were looking at a solution where it could improve the experience. Like with, even if you have a very low speed connectivity, so how do you improve the user experience? So that was our primary objective, right? So after deploying this VDI, so VDI has a intelligence that it could detect the speed of the connectivity, and and it can adjust the protocol, like it could be a blast or a different protocol which is optimized for that kind of a connectivity. So that had largely increased the user experience, and in fact when we wanted to measure the success of this implementation, so we did a survey of for more than 1,000 people, and we found out that more than 50% are still using mobile hotspot because of their hometown and their own reasons. But yet we had 94% of users who were saying that user experience or the productivity has largely increased. They rated good and excellent. So that's the kind of story which we had just.
In fact, on the productivity side, the lighter note, I think one of the most common WhatsApp which is spreading today is the Avinash Chandra's out of office mail that he sent. What he is saying is,
that I have to go to office. Please bear with me. I have to go for coffee meetings. I have to be stuck in traffic. So I will be.
So I will come back. I'll reply to your mail tomorrow when I'll do work
when
from home.
Back
right?
home. Yes, absolutely. But that's the truth, right? I mean, at least I can tell you. I think last 2 years I've been very productive. I used to travel 1.5 hours per site on a daily basis. And I'm sure everybody would have stories like this, right? Perfect. So let's we're almost at the hour, and Amir, any closing comments from your side?
Just one last thing: invest in the tooling. It has reaped benefits like nothing else.
Leverage on technology.
Yes.
You should always stand on giant shoulders, So
excellent. Tushar, before I end it with Prajeet.
So one of the most important message or most important thing that we have been advocating and we will continue advocating is stop looking at the silo infrastructure. Start looking forward from an user's perspective and from his productivity perspective, where your business is relying on. Okay, and to top it off, look at the solutions which will not compromise the user's experience, user productivity. At the same point of time, it will ensure that your organization's security practices can be met at and the overall infrastructure can be modernized when we are moving into year 2023 and forward. So that's the key message or key takeaway that we have been advocating to all our customers. The employee, we should keep it at a core and design solution around it to make it success in the future.
Sure.
Absolutely. Tushar is absolutely right.
Prajeet, comments from you, please.
Yeah, I think everybody has spoken, but what we advocate to our customer is that, number one, this is an era where people are trying to do more with less. When you want to do more with less, you need to have a holistic approach. This is a fundamental shift that we are asking organizations to, because organizations have not been born overnight. They have taken their own time. They have invested in different technologies over a period of time. And because of that nature, generally in majority of old organizations, you will find that they have I would say a siloed set of management tools. A team which is only managing this use cases, a team which is managing only other use cases, a third security team only managing that, which kind of increases the complexity and interoperability challenges. So when we are propagating to the customer, we always tell them that don't look at it only from this particular view. While I know that could be a view that you wanted currently, or that particular team is evaluating, But when an organization is looking at it, look at it from a more holistic view. That are you able to consolidate multiple tools with a single team? Is this an opportunity where instead of using 7 tools, by maybe 3 different teams of yours, can you reduce that 7 tools to maybe 2 tools managed by 1 team? Saves cost, reduces, improves efficiency, reduces the need of trained resources by so many people, and makes you more agile comparatively to that. So one, look at interoperability and the need of consolidating it from more holistic view. So many times customers often compare cost of tools. Oh, your tool could be quite expensive compared to the other. But that is primarily because a tool like what we offer in the market can probably replace the need for multiple siloed tools that an organization needs. And when you look at it with a more holistic viewpoint, that's when the complete value of the tool is there. For example, if I give you a very simple example, I was talking to one of my ex-employees who was part of VMware, and VMware has deployed this digital workspace as a part of thing where we offer passwordless authentication, single sign-on to across my 600 odd applications. I mean, it's something fabulous to really experience the way Amir is mentioning. To really see it, that we know that every application owner says that you need to have a username password. Every 1 month you need to change the username password. Imagine if you have 8-10 minimum application. What happens if everybody starts scribbling them down? Who is going to remember? Or they will make easy passwords and keep on changing 1 digit every month. Who's going to create multiple passwords? Imagine that entire thing where we say, don't remember any password. Your thumb is your authentication. Authenticate with your thumb. All the backend single sign-on in sync and cutting across all your applications, no password to be remembered, delivering that kind of experience. That experience gives employee the confidence. Oh, this is a fabulous organization. And by the way, I was talking about my ex-employee. He joined one of the other organization, a global company, and he, after about a week, I asked him, how do you see? Just called up to check out his experience. He said, no, everything is good. I'm working fine. But one thing which is standing different is the experience that I thought. Because I never had to remember a URL. I never had to bookmark a URL. Whatever I needed, I could get in my app store, single thumb, and everything good. So here, I'm actually bookmarking different applications. I have to, tag that password into it and those challenges. So this is simple things, but the simple things result in the employee productivity and the time and the other impact over here. And now, organizations in the HR are taking cue to this, and they're coming up and saying that a lot of IT companies are talking about tools and solutions. Is there a solution which truly measures this? Are there tools which measures the employee experience? What's the level of my employee experience? Are they happy? Are they having challenges in terms of, the applications being down, not down? Which are the top applications which are taking a lot of time? How do you measure this, like that? So the good news is, we have offered this kind of solution also as a part of our intelligence platform. And this is what the industry is moving towards. And another aspect of it is that the gap between management and security is getting more and more thinner, and solutions are getting more and more integrated. So you will have the security solution vendors providing management capability, and you will also have the management solution vendors offering
providing security
capability. So
the silos are decreasing.
Yeah. So this is what the world is coming to, and everybody is trying to make the world a better place, and so is VMware. We are trying to innovate and continue to offer the best end user experience to our customers.
Perfect. I think, talking about security to business resilience, to continuity, to new ways of working normal, to looking at holistic employee experience, to reducing silos. I had a lot of takeaways from this esteemed panel discussion. It really was a privilege speaking with all of you. I wish all of you a very great day. Please be safe. Looking forward to connecting with you in the future again.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.